This is the W-51 small flashlight found on Amazon. This is what the listing looks like, and it's $12.99. I bought a couple of these. I was gonna give them away to people, but I'm actually sending them back, and all but this one. And this is the reason why. Uh, there's that's the model number. Um, I guess starting with the magnet, I actually like the way this magnet is designed, but it can't stick to things that great. It's actually not a super weak magnet, uh, but just because of the molding, it can barely keep itself up horizontally. You're probably okay hanging it from something or setting it on something, but at least on my fridge, it really didn't want to stay. Um, and yeah, let's see. Um, what do they call these? Hang on. Yeah, site regulator A and site regulator B. Um, it's actually kind of cool. They have this little molded in piece of silicon, silicone, and they got the little notches that correspond with it. So, but it is real stiff to move. They probably have a similar thing going on up here because it is dampened. This one feels real nice. Um, in testing, mine got hot as shit, and then it started to get really dim. So it turns out the reason for that is uh, it appears to just run unregulated off the battery, and then the battery has circuit protection or a BMS on it. The thing is, this runs down to 2.5 volts before it cuts off, and it actually says right on it it's rated up to. It's actually following its rating, so maybe this battery is properly BMS'd, but that looks like 2.4 and 3.8 volts, which isn't really a chemistry I'm familiar with. It doesn't seem like lithium ion to me. Uh, Maybe they moved the voltage down a touch because they're not really regulating the LED at all. They're just strapping it to the battery and letting her buck. So what you end up with is it being bright as shit, hot as shit, and then as the battery voltage declines, which it will, which again is also kind of odd because you expect, lithium ion to kind of maintain a certain voltage for a while and then just drop off like a cliff and then just get cut off. Usually you like to cut off before you hit that drop off, but this doesn't do any of that. It just gets dimmer and dimmer and dimmer. But it does technically appear to shut off because right now I can't cut it on. So let's strap it to a charger. And I guess the other thing is it doesn't do a good job sort of getting a constant charge off of the charger. You'll see it jump from 1 to 9 to, and you can see the whole thing just getting kind of beat on. I don't know if this BMS is just turning the whole show on and off quickly. But the result is that, when we pull, you can really see the pulsing. This is what's happening during the charge cycle. And don't think that's my charger, but, whatever. So that's weird. And there's the dim function. You can see that just gets PWM'd. You can see it interacting with the camera. And then you've got the little dude on the end. He's going to be pulsing right now too. And actually, if you hold the button, you do get a red light, which that's actually pretty useful. So maybe I don't hate this thing completely, but I'm still not going to give them to friends because I'm not convinced this will survive. For one, you've got this clamshell system, and if that ever gets wet, the water's just not going to want to come out of there. And so this isn't a good flashlight just to carry around. You drop it in the bathtub, it's gonna suck up water, and it's just gonna sit there and be unhappy. You know, not that they're claiming any waterproofness, but I just think, see, that's a strong magnet. It just, on flat surfaces, it just doesn't get good contact. At least mine didn't. But I think your money's better spent. Get something that's aluminum, you know, because they're gonna, like, typically any aluminum flashlight is probably gonna run an 18650, and that at least gives you options to buy quality batteries. Whereas replacing this with a cell of similar size with its own management and with the weird voltages that I am seeing, I don't know, like, I think this running off of a straight lithium ion might, it appears to really run the LED hard, and it gets hot as shit, and I tend to not like to run LEDs that hot. And then of course it gets dim as shit too. So I don't know, whatever. I'm not super keen. It does kind of look actually like, I haven't watched a whole charge cycle here, but it does look like it now. It is not playing whack-a-mole. So that's a pretty good rate of charge for this battery. So it is at least absorbing. I didn't watch the last charge cycle, but I did run this for a cycle. And you get, let's see, I walked away. I can't remember if it was an hour or an hour and 40 minutes. Shit. I guess it's pointless to bring up. But yeah, whatever. I'm not, for $12.99, I think you're better off, like, get something like this, or just build your own cob light. You can get a massive cob like that long for, $1, and then, hell, strap it on anything. Hell, you could strap it into this stupid mess. But anyway, I don't know. This wasn't really a good review, but this maybe shows you the internals. For anyone that's just curious, I guess. Yeah, this looks like just a little no-name chip that's running the LED through a bunch of little teeny tiny MOSFETs, I guess. And I'm guessing, one of these is full strapped to the battery voltage. One of them gets PWM'd, and then one of them is just the circuit for these guys. And then I don't know what they do for running the red dudes. Maybe they run it in reverse. It's actually a good question. How does that work? How does that work? I mean, clearly there's 1, 2, 3 different LED dudes. So I'd assume red is probably the light on top. Totally just guessing here. All right, now I'm a little curious though. Okay. Let's go 1 and 2. So those two, and then the third one. Oh, well, maybe it's as simple as they, maybe this is the cob, the red, and the top light. And for dim, they just PWM this guy. So they go full brightness, PWM. And then one of these is red. Anyway, this thing, It has nothing to do with managing the battery. All it does is turn this red and turn it green at a certain voltage. But when the battery is dead, or when the BMS says it's dead, it quits sending voltage here. So the whole show is cut off. So anyway, cheap board, cheap parts, oddball voltage range on the battery, and the battery doesn't have any clout to it, so it's probably 400 milliamp hour. Like I don't know. I didn't actually try to measure it, but anyway, that's the W-51 flashlight. I would put money into something made out of aluminum. Give you more options. I did go and check out there's a pretty sweet version of this with a cob light. I do like these cob LEDs, by the way. I've been using the shit out of them for years. Sometimes it's nice to get light not from one source. But the Harbor Freight flashlight was like $40. Did give you a lot more options for batteries, but meh, $40, that's just too much. $12. This thing, I'm not convinced it's gonna last, and it's not easy enough to make better. So I don't know. Maybe I'll go looking for a flashlight that I actually like tonight, because I just kind of bought this on a whim. Anyway, I'm blabbing now. That is the W-51 work light. Goodbye.